I think one way to figure it out is to see your internal reaction to the mess. We've kind of touched upon this, but this is an interesting point too that Pedro brings up. He says, what's the balance between messy and presentable? How do you know you're not being excessive by desiring a clean home? It's a good point, right? Because I want my place presentable, and the idea that that's somehow not a good thing is not what we're saying.
No, not at all. I think that
I think one way to figure it out is to see your internal reaction to the mess. Like, I think there's an appropriate way of being like, this isn't presentable, I need to fix this up so that it is. But if you find yourself getting angry about it, and just like depressed, and you feel like just frustrated, it's like, oh, that's probably a sign that even though you should still make this presentable to your ability as these people come over, you know, that's a bell that should have went off for you.
Yeah. And I think also having a realistic expectation. I remember a friend of mine, they had lots of littles at the time, and the husband said, honey, if you could, like, if he said to her, I need this house to be spick and span when I get in, not okay. They have lots of little kids, but I love what he said. He said, honey, if you can make a path for me from when we walk in the door that I can walk and put down my coat and bag and then walk to the kitchen.
Tripping over stuff is
I just need a path. Because he would get angry. He'd step on a Lego and start yelling at his kids. And he's like, and then I'm angry all night. If you could just make me a path. And I love it. And she was like, all right, kids. They had like a timer that they would set, and they do a 10-minute tidy up before daddy got home.
Well, I mean, tell them what I say when I walk in and I go upstairs and I see the bed's been made. Right? I'm thrilled.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, honey, I feel so loved by this. And you're like, thank you.
I'm like, you're welcome.
And then it turned out one day it was that lady who came over to help, and you didn't tell me, but that's okay. She still got made.
The bed got made. I didn't think she'd be upset at me for taking credit. But yeah, no, and finding out what really matters. So for me, I feel like I used to focus my energy on making you a nice meal when you came home from work.
Don't care.
And I'm like, who doesn't care? Like, that's how you're supposed to, guys feel love through their stomach. But I made the kitchen a mess, and there was lovely food waiting. But he's like, I'd rather the bed be made and the kitchen not be a mess. I was like, really? Because that would take way less time than making this big, beautiful meal that I've prepared for you. And so it's like learning, okay, Matt will feel more loved if I make the bed and I don't have the kitchen messy. It's like, here's a bowl of cereal for dinner. I'm like, you don't feel loved, do you? And it's like, I do. I'm like, all right, well, that's
funny.
Different. But good. It's good to have the conversation and see and how you can show up for each other. And finding the balance.